Well, hello, Get Rich Education Nation. It is Keith Weinhold here. I am in Birmingham, Alabama with the most extraordinary provider in the state, Spartan Invest, and Maureen McCann.
Thank you, Keith. It is so nice to have you here in our home state, in the beautiful city, the magic city of Birmingham, Alabama. It is so nice to show this beautiful city and state to you and your wife.
Yeah, it's so good to be here, and there's quite a bit of construction going on in the city. It's funny, there's actually some jackhammering going on that messed with our production a little bit that we had to be careful for because this place is literally growing as we speak. So Spartan Invest is a turnkey real estate provider, and they really serve three markets. Birmingham, somewhat near the center of the state where we are today, which is also the largest city in the state, Huntsville in northern Alabama, and then they recently expanded to a new market of Chattanooga, Tennessee, just across the line. So they've been serving our investors for more than 6 years now, and there are a few distinct reasons why I am here. There's a very specific reason that I'm in Birmingham, Alabama today, because it is such an investor advantage market. You know, I often talk about how the market is more important than the property, because before you buy a property, you've got to think, will this secure an income stream? Well, that comes from the job and the diversity of economic sectors in the market. So tell us more about those diversity of economic sectors in the industry here, Maureen.
Yeah, so you make a really good point. You want a stable and diverse economy, something that offers the investor protection against their capital from being lost to, say, an industry that tends to falter a little bit. Sort of like we saw in some other states, one namely, but I won't name it, but you know, it's an auto manufacturing company in Michigan that when they had a situation, it really affected a large portion of their community because a large portion of those community was employed by that particular company. So what we like about the markets we serve is not only job growth, but diversity of industry. So for example, Birmingham is predominantly healthcare. University of Alabama, Birmingham is one of the largest employer here in Birmingham, and I don't see it ever really leaving. I don't see a state university and a hospital really leaving this state. So you're looking for really big anchor employers that are going to be here for a long time, employ a lot of the residents here, because as you know, we need jobs to pay rent. It's pretty simple. And so besides healthcare, we have manufacturing, shipping, warehousing, distribution, trucking, all the things that really matter. The things that we make here have to be able to be transported to other parts of the country. And so we've actually thrived through COVID because of the increased need for products to be delivered.
It's such a banking center here as well. And yeah, it's interesting you talk about the hospitals, because you don't just want industries, you want diverse industries that are durable, that are going to create a durable income stream for your tenants. And you rarely see hospitals, you know, shut down. They're typically expanding and they're thriving places. So that's really important. And you know, one thing that Birmingham in itself has is it's interesting because it does have the steel industry. In a lot of cities, you know, manufacturing is gone, but the steel industry is actually making a new investment here. So it's really those diversity of income streams are where your tenants' income comes from. And that's good that there are so many here. Talk to us a bit more about north here of Birmingham and Huntsville, just a quick overview there market-wise.
Well, there is predictions, and the trajectory is showing that this is true. If Huntsville continues to grow at the pace that it is growing, it will be the largest MSA in the state, surpassing Birmingham. I read that years ago, but we're getting closer to that line, to that crossover line, and that's because of all of the growth that's happening in Huntsville, namely through aerospace engineering, technology, government contracts. Redstone Arsenal is the largest employer. Over 30,000 people are on payroll there. The FBI is relocating. The TOYOTA-MAZDA manufacturing plant is just on the cusp of opening. We've got Facebook, Google, Amazon, a lot of those big companies that I think are here to stay and play for a while.
Now, a lot of places have diversity of industry, but that doesn't really translate to being a good investor market for you. The numbers don't work if you don't have a good ratio of rent income to purchase price. But here you have a cost of living that's low, and really there's a specific reason I traveled to Birmingham, Alabama today. I am here in Pleasant Grove, Alabama. I'm just about 13 minutes southwest of Birmingham, and I'm here with Pete DiCaprio and Maureen McCann of Spartan Invest. We're here inside one of their brand new construction turnkey rental properties, just like the ones that you can buy yourself. And you know, interestingly, I was just talking with Pete about how these are built on infill lots, at least this particular one that we're in. Pete, tell us about the pros and cons of when you, from the builder perspective, have to go look at a complete tract of a whole bunch of homes, or just buying one individually as an infill lot like you are here.
Sure, you know, on the infill lots that we're at like today, the city already has it established. So your utilities are here, your water, your power, the city already knows it as an address for 911, emergencies, things like that. Where on a tract that you're building, you're starting from zero, right? So the city's got to plot everything. You got to bring the power company in, you have to bring the water company in and design everything from A to Z.
So therefore, on an infill project like this, is that a better price that can be offered to that investor generally?
It is a better price generally. You know, with cost of building materials right now, it's kind of hard to fluctuate on those a little bit, but it's definitely a less cost for everybody involved as that goes.
Yeah, so when you look for new construction, we're talking about the pros and cons of an infill lot versus buying properties that are all new on a contiguous tract. And with an infill lot like this, you don't have to wonder what's going to be built up around you because it's already been built up around you. So we're here in this beautiful new construction single family. And what are we looking at here? Is it 3-bed, 2-bath? And then
Three bed, 2-bath. We're almost right at 1,600, just shy of 1,600 square feet. It's got brick front, vinyl siding, 2-car garage. You have a utility room for your laundry and things like that. And it's the same build as our renovated properties with the granite countertops and the flooring but here of course everything's nice and new and shiny with the cabinets and things like that.
Yeah, and it's so funny, isn't it, Marie? When I was driving into this neighborhood, I said, I think I can identify these markets. This just looks like an investor neighborhood. You have these good looking homes. They're not beautiful because usually beautiful ones aren't profitable, but you know, they're above the bottom as well. So somewhat just below that median price point and kind of where you have these modestly sized homes, 1,600 square feet like this one, are the sorts of ones that work for investors.
Yeah, you did say that. You sniffed it out really well, Keith. It was like, he's like, I'm feeling like this is a cash flow neighborhood right here, and you were right.
Yeah, it smells like cash flow to me. So what else can you tell us about this property, Pete? We talked about the countertops, the flooring, because usually we want durable surfaces, and they're not necessarily the surfaces that we want in an owner-occupied home because we typically look for that durability. Something's going to stand up to a tenant.
Exactly. You know, all our homes get granite countertops, and people are like, why do you go to that expense? Well, you know, we partner with a company here locally that can bring us the granite. They come in, measure, they set it, they do everything for it. It's pretty much indestructible, right? It's not having to be replaced and over time, and it's just here for the long haul. Same thing with our flooring, agreeable gray paint, easy to match and clean up on a move out and different things like that.
When everything's new, first of all, a home often gets a longer duration of tenant stay. When it is a single family home, it kind of feels like their own, and then when it's brand new, you often get that longer retention as well. And we're talking about the length of that tenant stay and how a tenant lives there. What if something does happen to go wrong? A lot of times in new build, the attraction for you as an investor is that, well, you understand that you are typically paying more on a square footage basis for new construction, but your tenants stay longer, and oftentimes you have a warranty with a lot of these materials that we're talking about here.
Correct. So on all our new build properties, you get a 1-year warranty, where a renovated property is a 90-day warranty. So for an investor, you're a whole year without any warranty. The warranty's coming back to Spartan. Our construction team will come out and fix anything that happens to that property.
Okay, because some wonder, now how good is that warranty? I mean, is that something I could really get paid for if something goes wrong?
No, it's 100% on us. You know, we actually track that as a KPI as our company for our renovated properties and our new builds, so that we track that, what we call owner concession or after reno repairs type costs.
We're talking about durable finishes and what's going to hold up. A lot of times you think about pets, it seems to me that pets have become, you know, sort of more common in the United States and more popular rather than less common. And interestingly, we were just in the backyard. I was talking about, is there going to be a fence built here? We're kind of talking about the pros and cons of fences, and that has to do with pets.
Yeah, I mean, if you put a fence up in a dog or in a yard, it's a dog magnet for somebody, right? They're bringing a dog to that property 100%. And we do offer pets, and there's a pet deposit that they have to go through and pay for and things like that to help cover dog expensive. Any dog owner knows that somebody's going to chew up something one day. There's going to be an expense associated with that. So we try to look out for that also.
Sure. Just talk a bit more about the numbers. Do you know what the market rent is for this and how that compares to the purchase price?
Sure. So the market on this one for the rent is $1,500. The price of it is $230 to purchase. So, as the rent ratio goes, it's right in line with the area. Of course, living in the state of Alabama, when you get to a certain point, that rent to purchase ratio goes away. Like we were talking earlier, the nice part about Pleasant Grove is a desired community. People want to live in this area for the schools, for the convenience to be in downtown. Not 20, 30-minute commute to downtown is nothing.
And there's somewhat of a cultural perspective here. That's kind of one of the interesting things. One of my degrees is in geography. I love travel and places and differences in culture and all that. We're talking previously about a lot of people that were, grown and raised here. There's kind of this down home feeling. They want to continue to live and rent in an area where they might have grown up. So oftentimes, do you get a pretty good proportion of people that were sort of born and raised in this area and want to stay here and continue to live in Pleasant Grove, Alabama, or wherever it is?
Yeah, people here, it's kind of a bedroom community. We don't have a big rush hour. We don't have a lot of traffic. So people can drive to work and live that, 30 miles away, and it only takes them 30 minutes to get there, compared to some of your bigger cities and some of your other areas where it takes a little bit longer to get there. And they can say, hey, my kids went to the same schools I went to. They played in the same sports programs or whatever they were involved in. They get to do the same things they did. And it means a lot to people. Same churches, same families, grandparents, aunts and uncles, everybody's close-knit and close together.
Yeah, you just don't find that in a lot of places. So here we are in a kitchen in a single-family, new construction turnkey home. We're not cooking any food, but we're cooking up a lot of good ideas with Pete DiCaprio and Marie McCann. Within this state here, whether you're more investing in Birmingham or up north in Huntsville, are those low property taxes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it is, the more fees that you have to pay out as a real estate investor, the less cash flow, the less money you have in your own pocket. And the benefit of the states that we do business in is because of the low property taxes. They're under 1%, some of them nearly 0.5%. So the majority of that money that's coming in from rent is less of it's going to the property taxes as it would go, say, if you were in another market where the property taxes are 2 or 3%, that's a bigger chunk of your cash going to fees versus going in your pocket. So the lower cost of living, the lower property taxes is a really big draw for a lot of our investors.
Now, if you're a brand new investor, you're like, well, so what? The property taxes are low. But you need to understand, as an out-of-state investor, no, you pay the low property tax rate in Alabama if you own Alabama investment property. If you live in California or Connecticut or New Jersey or New York, you don't pay the property tax there. Of course, you get to pay it in the jurisdiction where you've invested. So that's really important when we go ahead and run our numbers. But oftentimes we think about that top line ratio of rent income to purchase price.
Yes.
And Maureen, I think you hear it all the time. And actually, I think a lot of people still ask you, like, can you get the 1% thing, that 1% ratio of rent income to purchase price? It's still a common question, maybe because it's just such a convenient ratio. But as I like to say, really 0.8% today is pretty analogous to that full 1% ratio of rent income to purchase price that you were getting a few years ago, primarily due to the impact of low mortgage rates. So just tell us roughly, what are we looking at now for Birmingham and then for Huntsville for ratio of rent income to purchase price? Of course, that depends a little bit on whether it's an existing property or a new construction property or what.
Correct, right? So we are really in the 0.75 to 0.8% ratio. I know other markets, they're talking about 0.5 and 0.6 being stellar or at least acceptable. We're a little bit higher than that, and I think it is due to two factors. One, the lower interest rates that we have, and that's everyone experiences that, but also there's the low property taxes. There's just less money going out, so there's more money available to investors.
Yeah. Now, of course, we've been underneath a housing shortage for quite a long time here. And, really it's a shortage of whether a person wants to rent a home or buy a home. So just tell us roughly, how we're looking at that now. If an investor is interested in buying at Spartan Invest, is there a waiting list or how does that look? No,
we do have we do have a lot of investors. I've been doing this for 13 years, Keith. You probably may know that. So I've seen the market over the last 13 years, and I've really never seen a situation where the demand for rental properties has decreased. Honestly, I've just never seen it. And that's been through the 2008-09 global financial meltdown. Now we've gone through nobody would have ever thought, a global pandemic, right? But even during those two major sort of financial situations, I've not seen a waning or a reduction in the desire for owning hard assets. And I think maybe looking at sort of the hyperinflationary state that is here and maybe even more coming sooner, is, people are hedging against the inflation, the increase in inflation. So they're looking to really put their money into hard assets like rental property. So we do not have a wait list per se, but we do have a very competitive environment for people wanting the properties that we produce.
One thing that's really outstanding here is you have a great team, and I was just meeting them both here and downstairs with Atlas Rental Properties. You have the in-house property management here, and then upstairs where we are here, you really have this team that's a liaison with your investors. In fact, I've been a turnkey rental property investor for years. It's not very often where I have the turnkey company reach out to me monthly to really ask me how it's going as an investor. They do that here. And in fact, your one employee, she showed me that there is a report card given to each individual investor. Say you as an investor, if you own 4 properties in this market, there's a report card grading how your property performed each year based on rate of return and other metrics. So just tell us more about that in-house experience, that team experience. You really are a real team. You're focused here. It's not a distributed workforce. So just tell us more about what you do here at Spartan.
We wholeheartedly believe that there's 2 things that every out-of-state landlord should experience, and that is proactive communication. Because look, we service very busy professionals who want to diversify into real estate holdings. They're coaching Little League, they're raising kids, they're maintaining marriages, they're running households, they may even be running corporations, and they want to diversify in their holdings into rental properties, but a lot of times they don't have the time to keep their eye on that ball, right? And so they're relying on a team of people here, my customer service managers, 4 amazing ladies who are responsible for calling every investor every month with an update. And whether the investor takes the phone call or not, it's coming, because we want them to know that we're actually watching their properties, overseeing their capital, protecting their capital, and reporting to them every 30 days on what is happening with their property. The other thing we believe in too is just transparency in reporting. There's going to be repairs and things, and so you just need an honest company that is communicating with the maintenance team and the customer service team to communicate what repairs are happening, and keeping that investor just really aware of the success of their property.
Because there are problems, there are leaks. Sometimes there's a garage door that doesn't work anymore and it's just beyond its warranty period. Sometimes these things happen, they aren't any different here. That all goes into part of your report card. But see, when you're communicated with as an investor, it makes things a lot less frustrating when you understand, the cause or the source of a problem or what they're doing about it. So is there any last thing that you'd like to tell a prospective investor about the climate of investing in either Birmingham, Huntsville, or Chattanooga today?
Yeah, I would say this is that when you're looking to really maximize your capital and you're looking for a significant return on your capital and really good cash flow, markets that are stable and diverse and growing, that offer low property taxes with a highly organized team that is incentivized to perform well for the investor, because we're set up as a paid for performance business model, then that's really the formula for success. There will be things that will happen, but you really just need, the team is probably the utmost important factor in determining the level of your success as an investor. And if you've got a highly organized team that's incentivized because they're paid to perform with incentives and bonuses, then I think your level of success is a lot higher.
You can learn more about Spartan Invest and investing in Birmingham, Huntsville, or Chattanooga here on this page. It's been great to get into a market, learn about a market. I'm a geography guy, so it's been great just walking around, getting around, and look at maps a lot more, frankly, myself. So, well, thanks so much for your time, Maureen. For Maureen McCann, I'm Keith Weinhold. Thanks so much for stopping by.